What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing a funny concept where Awesome Melf has sent in some battles in the Open Great League using the Galarian bird trio, except one of those birds is actually an imposter. Instead of the Galarian Articuno, this trainer is using an XL Natu in its place, which got several buffs this season and actually has a great moveset with Peck, Psyshock and Drill Peck, but of course it doesn't reach a very high CP. This Natu in particular is actually about 100 CP below its max. I don't know if it's underleveled or if it's just a very average IV shiny, or maybe a combination of both, but either way it's still a very fun concept. And actually I've done something similar on stream before, replacing a member of each legendary trio with an imposter, so let me know if you'd like to see me do something like that again. But anyways, with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What kind of content do you want to see for the final week of the season? Of course we've got the Ultra League and the Master League, but instead of the Open Great League we only have the Catch Cup, so gonna be quite limited on what I can showcase there, so let me know if you have any ideas. But with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading Natu into Bastion. Honestly, the worst thing we could possibly see. We're going to say swap into Zapdos, our only answer to a Bastion. Unfortunately for us, the opponent is choosing to stay in here. They must be double or even triple weak to the Zapdos, and we get the full counter farm down. The opponent is thinking about what to do. They come in with Greninja, so potentially triple weak to the fighting typing. We go for Fly. Fly grabs the first shield. We're already at Fly number 2 here. Of course, we're not running close combat, but Fly easily going to get the KO with the counter damage anyways, and the opponent is going to fire off the charge move. They go for Night Slash. They actually get the boost, which is not ideal, but their final Pokemon is a Medicham. Now, of course, Medicham is weak to flying, but definitely a decent answer to the Zapdos. But we're going to go straight for Drill Peck. That does big damage. And speaking of big damage, that is a non-step Ice Punch, but we're barely able to hang on. We're actually going to go for a shield, go for the full farm down, going to come out with a Drill Peck loaded, and this is an underleveled shiny Natu, but it still gets the KO there at 1146 CP, and we're able to take that game. Into next battle, we're going to see Shadow Gyarados. Unfortunately, they will just barely outpace us to this first charge move. We probably can barely just tank an Aqua Tail, but we are going to shield anyways. They swap into Fever. We are very slow to swap out there and respond, but we come in with our Zapdos. They've now got the energy for a Play Rough, so we are going to shield, and it is a full send. So at this point, we can now just go for a full counter farm down. They probably come back in with the Gyarados, and because counter generating energy slower than it used to, I don't think we're even going to reach back-to-back flies here. I'm going to fire off the first one, grab the first shield from the opponent, but the opponent easily able to outpace us to the next charge move. Aqua Tail gets the KO from that range, and the opponent is going to swap out, and they swap into Blastoise. This is a tricky Pokemon for us to deal with, but Natu not done just yet, able to reach a second Drill Peck before they farm us down. They get the final shield there, and now we're going to come in with the Moltres. The opponent is going to fire off the charge move. It's just a Hydro Cannon. The opponent trying to get to back-to-back, but they don't get there, and instead we get the perfect farm down, coming out with a Brave Bird loaded. Brave Bird gets the one shot there, and we're able to take that game. But into the next battle, we can see Vigoroth in the lead. So, of course, double resisting the counter damage. We are very easily sponging that damage there. Of course, going to go for Psyshock. Psyshock and Drill Peck actually are clones of each other now, just with different typings. So, in neutral situations, it really doesn't matter which one you throw. The opponent's going to say swap into Trevenant. We're going to look to chip or grab a shield with a Drill Peck, and we grab that shield. Now we can hard punish with the Moltres. Of course, we do not need to shield anything. Seed Bomb is resisted. Shadow Ball also would be resisted. So again, just going to commit no shields, go for a full farm down. It's just another Seed Bomb. We get the full farm down there, and they're going to come in with their final Pokemon, Azumarill. Now, this team is quite weak to the Fairy typing, and it's not like Natu is particularly good up against Fairies either, so we've got two Pokemon weak to Fairy and then Natu, but luckily for us, it is just going to be an Azumarill. Azumarill is obviously not applying any fast pressure with the Fairy typing, so at this point we can probably just let Natu go down. Ice Beam gets the KO. We can come back in with the Zapdos. The opponent trying to catch a charge move or something. We were not even anywhere near a charge move just yet, and so you know what, since we got the Brave Bird loaded already, we might as well full send it. We get the KO there, and we're able to take that game. But into the next battle, we're going to see Annihilate in the lead. So another great lead matchup for us. The opponent's going to say swap into Oranguru. And of course, we've just had a meta where Oranguru was the top Pokemon. It was on every single team. And it's quite nice to see it get absolutely destroyed by this Moltres here. We can resist everything they can possibly throw. Commit no shields, go for a full farm down, come out with close to 100 energy, and we still have half our HP remaining. The opponent recognizing it's just game over already, and we're able to take it. But into next battle, we're going to see a Wigglytuff in the lead, so this is problematic for us. We're going to go straight for Drill Peck here, not throwing on perfect timing, but hopefully we can at least get to a second Drill Peck. But the opponent actually going to throw a Charge Move. Honestly, I don't think we live the next charm, so that is kind of huge for us. They fire off the Swift, and can we come in and counter farm them down? Yes, we're able to do so before they reach the next Charge Move. That is huge for us. We can now full send a Brave Bird here, and then look to swap into our Moltres. Brave Bird gonna connect. We come in with the Moltres. The opponent has farmed up a ton of energy, so of course gonna shield, respect the damage, and they do full send the Sludge Wave. They're staying in just to be fully farmed down there. Their final Pokemon gonna be a Talonflame. We should have gone for 2 Sucker Punches there and then thrown, but either way it's fine. Again, should be going for 2 here as we can, as they are on Incinerate, but either way we fire off the fly. For whatever reason they don't shield that. I don't understand that play at all. It doesn't really matter, I guess. We're going to shield the Flame Charge, go for the Sucker Punch farm down, and we're able to take that game. But into the next battle, we can see a Shadow Kingdra in the lead. So, like the Gyarados, they will outpace us by a single turn. Again, we probably can tank a Swift just barely, but we're going to shield anyways. And here, we are going to go and fire off a Drill Peck. Drill Peck is going to grab a shield back from the opponent. Again, they will outpace us, but they do throw straight away here. So, we do now have the energy for the next charge move. And again, going to go for that Drill Peck. Can we get the KO here? The opponent is also going to double shield. We do just allow a full farm down. But we come in with the Zapdos, the opponent committing to a higher energy charge move, but they don't end up getting there, and they've got Credilli and Primeape in the back, and this is game over. Fly easily gets the one shot there. They come back in with Credilli, recognizing there's not an awful lot they can do there, and so they just concede the match. Into the next battle, speaking of Credilli, going to see in the lead this time around. Again, they're on the Bullet Seed variant, so, of course, minimal fast move pressure. We're going to throw straight away here just to get off our charge move before they can debuff us. And actually, we're happy to let the move go through. Rock Tomb easily KOs us, but we can now come in, and we put them into perfect counter farm down range, but they're going to have a Spark Lantern in the back. Now, I can remember back in the day when I used to try and run this trio with the real Articuno. That was back in Lantern's prime, and it was super frustrating seeing it on basically every other team, but we have done big damage there. We've put them into farm down range, and they're going to have a Mudshot Diggersby in the back. That is huge for us. Of course, Mudshot is double resisted, so they need charge moves to get the KO here, and Fire Punch just really not going to do much damage either. We will shield anyways, just in case it is a Hyper Beam, but it's not. It is the Fire Punch there. We might as well use both our shields. It's not like they're going to have Fire Punch and Hyper Beam, so at this point, we don't even need to throw any charge moves. The opponent recognizing 2 Fire Punches don't KO, and so they do allow a full farm down, and we're able to take that game. But into the next battle, we're going to see Tentacruel in the lead. Looks like a bit of lag at the start, but actually, I think we're all caught up right now. So, going to go for a side shot, grab a shield from the opponent, and the opponent is going to fire off a charge move. Of course, going to shield. The opponent is going to go and bait with an Acid Spray. That is unfortunate for us. Looks like they will be able to fully farm us down. So, going to go for side shot number 2, then swap into our Moltres. And since they're on Acid Spray, very unlikely to be running like Blizzard or Gunk Shot or Sludge Wave or anything like that. So, we're going to no shield. It is just another Acid Spray. At this point, surely they full send the harder hitting move, and they do. They go for Scald. Scald actually going to debuff our attack stat as well, which is not ideal for us. But actually, it doesn't matter because they come in with a Venusaur. We debuffed, but Brave Bird gets the full on one shot, and they've also got Shadow Swampert in the back. So again, we debuff. Brave Bird still does huge damage. One more Sucker Punch, and we're able to take that game. Into next battle, Natu into Wigglytuff once again. So, last time we did throw straight away. Again, going to do the same thing here. I would like to see us try and throw on good timing after 7, because potentially that would allow us to reach another charge move. But actually, it doesn't really matter, because again, the opponent is just going to throw their charge move immediately. We come in with a Zapdos, but this time they barely hang on with 1 HP and a Dream there, forcing us to use a shield before we can fully farm them down. But let's see, they're going to come in with another Oranguru. I would personally like to see us swap straight away into our Moltres, but we're able to connect with the fly. We swap into Moltres, and they're going to have a Hex, a Lola Marowak in the back there, and so they just concede the match. So going into the final battle, I believe, of this video, going to see a Gliscor in the lead. So again, another Pokemon that will just barely outpace us. However, it looks like they throw on CMP. They lose CMP to a Natu. But this is probably going to be a Night Slash, so we will shield this up. It is the Night Slash. They will outpace us to the next move, but again, we can shield this, and we now have the energy for a Side Shock or a Drill Peck, whichever one we choose to throw. Doesn't really make a difference. As I mentioned already, they both deal the same damage in neutral situations. Side Shock doesn't quite KO, but it does put them into farm down range, potentially slightly better for us, but they're going to come in with a Shadow for Alligator. This is, oh no, sorry, not a Shadow, a regular for Alligator, but either way, this is quite scary for us. We're going to come in with the Moltres, swap into Zapdos, just to fully sacrifice it as we tank the Ice Beam, and that was the right decision, because what the heck even is that? I believe that's a Behemoth there. I don't know what that's doing there, but either way, right decision, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, if you want to take your support to the next level, you can become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments of every video. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has become a channel member already. Your support is greatly appreciated. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.